guys, thank you very much for joining. This is another live podcast Sunday session. It is Sunday the 23rd of March 2025. So I'm having a little bit of drama with my microphone, so it doesn't seem to be working. Somebody's just given me a tip there. They're saying that sometimes when they're on the live, the Bluetooth is connected first. Once the Bluetooth goes live, that kicks me off and turns me on. Okay, yeah, the Bluetooth, yeah, it's funny, man. It's funny. This microphone plays up. Everyone on TikTok can hear me. So tonight I've got a few things happening all at once here. So I've got us joining live here on Instagram as usual, but I've also connected to TikTok. So there's a few people here on TikTok joining. Thank you very much to those guys. I'm going to have a guest tonight. So that's why I'm wanting this mic to work 100%, because I have a guest. I want to make sure that you guys can hear us clearly, and then when I do the recording, it actually comes out proper. Because all these podcasts that we do, I do record them, put them up during the week on Instagram and TikTok as little snippets, and then I put them up on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple as the full episode. So I do want to make sure that you guys can hear us loud and clear. Great news for anyone that missed out on tickets last week for DDT. So what I do have is a discount code. So I don't have any more free tickets. I've run out of those, but I do have a discount code which will give you 10% off the tickets. So I will have that posted up on after the show. I'll post it up. Someone's saying knock knock. I will post it up after the show, so you'll get a 10% discount on DDT tickets when you go and use that link. All right, so the dates for that are the 16th to the 18th of May this year, and it's in Sydney. So that's for Diesel, Dirt and Turf. You get 10% off when you use my code, and I'll put that on after the show on my bio, and I'll put up a post with it as well. So that's there. I'll put it up on TikTok as well, guys. So thanks for joining as well on TikTok. Yeah, so tonight I've got a guest, and this guest is very willing to share his experience in our industry. He goes by the name of Simonic Earthworks. So a lot of you guys know him as Lindsay. So Lindsay Simonic, Simonic Earthworks, used to be Simonic Civil, which we're going to have to ask him how that name changed. And I can see he's already joined, probably keen to join us, so I won't leave him hanging anymore. Let me just do a quick formality. So one, don't forget you can list your business on my website, earthworkshub.com.au. Go on there, there's a whole bunch of businesses on there already, and you can add yours to that so that everyone can find you and use your services. So that's earthworkshub.com.au. You'll find businesses on there, events, jobs. I've got news, like the latest news and stuff, and then there's links to all my socials and links to all the partners which give you discounts if you use my codes. So a quick shout out to all my sponsors. So that is Moasure Australia, which I saw joined earlier. Thank you. Network Finance, the Bole Group, Melbourne Tractors, Spartan Machinery, Nexgen Landscapes, JR Safety Co, Digga, Godings, Earth Moving Warehouse, RecordTime, Plastube, and PPH. I tell you what, and you can see some of their stuff up behind me here. So a lot of my sponsors have given me stuff to put up in the background. So take note, have a look. And also don't forget Too Savage and Telesin and Hard Hat Watches. So thank you to all those other affiliates as well. All right, now, so without further ado, I won't go into the posts for this week. I actually didn't post that much. I do want to actually go straight into this interview. We've got Lindsay from Simonic Earthworks here. Thank you very much for joining.
No dramas. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, beautiful. So I do appreciate you coming on and doing this live. I know it's not easy doing interviews and that. So yeah, coming on, my hat goes off to you for coming on and doing it live. Yes. I haven't even sent you any questions like to prepare in that. So you're keen, man. You're keen. Right. That's good.
I'll be fine.
Oh, that's it, man. How you feeling about it? All right?
Yeah, good, man. No, I've been pretty excited about it. So yeah, it's good.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. So obviously you've got some stories to share with us. That's what it's all about. Yeah, we obviously want to find out. Yeah, we want to find out more about you, what you do, how you got there, all that sort of stuff. So let's open up with, what do you actually do? So what does your actual business involve?
Well, at the moment I've just got a 5-ton excavator, and I work for a high-end builder in Queensland. So I'll do all their basement digs, all their site cuts, foundations, piers. Yeah, a bit of everything really. Obviously, yeah, everyone knows that I've moved up to Queensland, and when I moved up here, I initially just done pool digs. All I done was dig swimming pools. So I worked for a pool company. Yeah, and yeah, from that it's just elevated into what I'm doing now. So a bit of word of mouth and whatnot, and yeah, got myself a really good contract up here now. So
Nice, nice. So you say that you've moved up there. So for people that don't know, where did you actually originate from?
So from Gippsland, Victoria. You obviously had the guest on, James Lawton, the other day during the week. So me and him basically grew up together, rode dirt bikes together and all that. So yeah, so I'm basically around from that same area.
Yeah,
Grew
small
up there.
world, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. So I was born in Perth and then came over when I was 1 year old, and then yeah, lived in Warragul pretty much my whole life. So yeah,
there you go. There you go, man. I didn't know. Yeah, because I knew you were from Melbourne, but I didn't know which part.
yeah.
Because I did do, I have to admit, I did do a bit of Instagram stalking when I knew you were coming on. I was like, I've got to find out a bit. I do that about all my guests. But actually, having a look at it, you seem to have gone through a few machines already. So you haven't
Yeah,
been just stuck with this five. You've actually done a lot more with before that.
yeah.
Give us a bit of an insight as to how you started out. How did it all start for you in our industry?
So my family, all my family, they're all builders. So there's my uncle done a lot of land development throughout his career. So all the school holidays, I was always on, going straight to my uncle's, just on the machines. I actually learnt on an old Chamberlain backhoe. That was the first machine I ever got on. So I learnt on backhoes, then went to a Case 580 Super K. Went on to that for a long time, just mucking around at my uncle's joint, just digging pointless holes everywhere in his paddocks, just getting practice up. So I think I was 4 years old when I first went onto a machine. Um, and then yeah, just elevated from there. He then, when he started developing land, he bought a Samsung 20 tonner when Samsung used to make diggers.
Yeah.
Um, and that was my first digger experience. I think I was probably, I would have been 8 or 9, I reckon. And then he sort of taught me all the basics. Yeah, just trimming and doing a bit of bulking and trying to load trucks safely enough. And then yeah, yeah, I loved it ever since. It's sort of been in my blood my whole life. So yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there, I actually in 2008 is when I first started doing it as a job, as a career. I just turned 18 and I started with a company, Gippsland Excavations. They're still running today.
Yeah, I've seen them
Um,
around actually. Yeah,
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 yeah. So I worked with them. It was my first ever job. We stayed in Kilmore. We were doing one of the first rail jobs with John Holland back then. So yeah, done a lot of stay away work. We worked at Tullamarine Freeway on and off with Fulton Hogan for a lot of years. And yeah, all over Melbourne sort of thing. Done a lot of subdivision work with Rocon. They're obviously a big subdivision contender in Melbourne. And then from there, I went to Kerry Civil. Worked with Kerry Civil for a lot of years on all the level crossing removals. Done that for a while, and then went to RTL Civil and Mining, which is down in Gippsland. Worked in the Hazelwood mine doing the big rehabilitation job. Yeah, down there. And then from that's when I started my business in 2020. It's nearly exactly the same as Precision Environmentals. It was 2020. Bought my first ever digger. Bought a Komatsu PC88 8 tonner off Malcolm Excavations. Reese Malcolm, he's one of my good mates now. And yeah, same deal. COVID kicked in, and I thought, what have I done here? Like everything's turned to crap, and we just found out, like, same deal. My wife and myself, we'd been together for probably 6 months, and we found out that we were having our first child. And then, yeah, it sort of snowballed from there. And I thought that work was going to get a lot slower, but it got out of control, especially in the housing industry.
Yeah.
And then, as you've seen on my page, I've been through a fair few machines in my short career, but I've sort of always adapted to what I've needed at the time. And I've been a one-man show for a majority of our business. I did have a few employees for a little bit, but I find it's a lot easier just looking after myself. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think I was going to get into an employee thing with you a bit later as well, so remind me about that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you had that. So you had the PC88. I saw that.
yep.
And then I seen that you kept upgrading after that. Yeah. So you had a
So
few other machines.
so I had the PC88, and I was actually one of the first to buy when John Deere actually brought their diggers to Australia. I bought their one of their first 14 tonners. So the first guy that actually bought one was in Tassie, and then I was the second guy. I thought, oh, these look good, and bought one of them, and had that for a while. I actually quite enjoyed it, but it was my first ever electric over hydraulic machine, so it took me a long time to figure out how to final trim with it. I remember
Yeah.
getting it back to my uncle's house and trying to trim some rock for him, and I could not do it to save my life. And I was like, I have to put this on the market. I can't do this. I look like a Gumby. So, but I persevered with it and sort of just taught myself I literally had to learn how to drive a digger again, pretty much. But I had that, and then I started a drainage crew because I worked for a company, A1 Civil, which are down in Gippsland, same place as where James actually started.
Yeah.
So I'd done a lot of their earthworks and drainage. So I then bought a hydromech backhoe off One Track in Dandenong. Bought that, and then from there I bought my SK230 Cabelco 20 tonner off Melbourne Tractors. And then from that I bought a Cabelco SK140, which was the last machine I had in Victoria, and then moving up here, that's when I got to the 5 tonner. So yeah, I've had a few in a short amount of time.
I know. I even saw that you used the dozer a couple of times and stuff, and I think even the grader. I saw you on one of your posts.
Yeah,
They weren't yours, obviously. You were just jumping in, were you? Or?
yeah. So a lot of the subdivisions that I used to do for A1, I used to run a lot of their stages for them. So growing up, I had a fair bit of experience on grader, dozer. It didn't really matter what it was. So I used to dry hire a lot of gear when we needed it. So it was good. It was good to be sort of hands on with everything.
Yeah.
So that was good. Yeah.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. Yeah. So I noticed you had a backhoe and stuff. What was the decision with the backhoe? Like, what made you want to get one of those? Is it just for the drainage stuff, or?
Yeah, basically just for the drainage. But I think growing up on a backhoe, I knew how versatile they were. Like they're basically like an 8 to 10 ton digger, and then you've got the front end loader, obviously with forks and everything. And it was great for drainage because you can run from one side of the job to the other and bring in pipes or rock or whatever it was. So it was a really, really handy bit of gear. So I've sort of got a bit of a soft spot for backhoes. So I reckon I'll retire in one, to be honest.
Yeah, they are. There's always every civil job. There's always that one backhoe that does everything. The poor guy, never stops, but they seem to love it. They love that everybody needs them. So,
yeah.
They're versatile, very versatile.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's it. So, going back to your John Deere one, I was going to ask you a question about that, but somebody just wrote here. So, Brett from TR Society wrote, "What's your thoughts of the electric over hydraulic? Do you feel that you've got less feedback in the joysticks?"
Yeah, I reckon, in all honesty, you don't have as much feel. This is my personal opinion. Obviously, everyone has got their own, but I feel you don't have as much feel when you're trimming. Obviously, if I spent more time in one, they had sort of the same feel as a Cat Nexgen, I suppose. But I think it's just a preference thing. Like I like the old school feel, like with the Cabelcos or Hitachi and that sort of, those sort of brands. So the John Deere was good. It was a good first 14 tonner. I did really like it. But obviously, I'd much rather sitting in my Hitachi or a Cabelco. I just think they're a beautiful machine. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I was going to lead to. I was going to say, what made you get a John Deere? Because I know they're very popular in America. Heaps of guys have got them when I watch their videos. And like, what made you go for one of those? Not that it was a bad choice. I'm just asking
in
you.
all,
Yeah.
all honesty, it was sort of funny. Like I wasn't even in the market for a John Deere at the time. 14 tonner, sorry,
Yeah.
and I was doing a subdivision for a developer, and yeah, I just got talking with one of my mates that I was working with, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind a 14 tonner. And literally, I was on Instagram that day, and I seen someone, the guy that bought the first one in Tassie, he put up a post about it. I said, oh boy, that looks like a sick looking digger.
Yeah.
And I rang up my finance broker, and I just said, hey, I'm thinking about buying this, and yeah, that day she's like, yep, no worries, you've been approved. And then yeah, I had to make the phone call to my wife and tell her that I've just bought a new 14 tonner. So it
Yeah.
was
They love those phone calls here. Don't get the first machine you see. Next thing, like, oh, I bought this machine. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So yeah, I had a bit of explaining to do, but look, it was. I think I'd only been in business for sort of 6 months. So I had the excitement of, oh, I just want to get as many machines as I can,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But yeah, I soon learnt that, it's so much easier just to run myself, just one machine, and just look after myself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
It's true. It's true. And I suppose that leads us on to the next question. So Phillips Plant Hire said, how many employees did you end up having and how long for? And I suppose that you probably sort of partly answered that. So how'd you go with the employee part?
look, it wasn't too bad. Like I had a drainage crew, and as everyone knows, having a drainage crew, you sort of need every part of the puzzle to be there for it to run smoothly. And that was when we were going through COVID, and yeah, I had one employee that seemed to catch COVID every single Monday. So it was it was a little bit hard to it was a little bit hard to keep consistency, especially when you're on a meter rate and you need to pump the meters in to get any, to make money. So yeah, I sort of after that, like I had my pipe layer and I had two operators, and like it worked well, but I literally had to have everyone there for it to work well. Otherwise, as soon as one person wasn't there, it just sort of turned to crap. So, but yeah, look, it was a good experience, and it's not to say I'd never get employees again, but I feel you just got to find the right crew, I think, and I think once you've found the right crew, you just got to really stick with them, and give them a bit of an incentive to stick with you as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think having probably like a drainage contract and that's probably good because you can use the guys to do pipe laying and maybe get them in the machines and do other multiple things. I think the hard thing, like someone like myself, because we just went on a lot of these civil sites on just hourly rates, it's like we were just dry hiring a machine to the civil company and then hiring out an employee with it, like a agency almost. So you're like a dry hire company and a recruitment agency, and then you just getting told what to do by the civil companies.
yeah,
And a lot of times it was hard because you're not really making that much. When you start to work it out, you don't really make that much on top
no.
of what's left. There's nothing much left for you.
No, that's right. It's like it looks like you're making heaps, but then when you have to when you start paying all your taxes and your BASs and all that, it's not all rainbows and lollipops. But I think
Yeah.
once you start getting the ball rolling and you're smart about how you run your business, and you know, not like what I done at the start, and oh, I'm making all this money, let's just go buy a new 14 tonner. It's yeah, if you're smart about it, you'll do well. So
Yeah, that's right. And you've got to allow for all your overheads and all the costs and that, like everyone's saying on there as well.
that's right. Yeah.
And then I think as I always talk about this tipping point, I feel like you get to a level where you can get either get some more stuff, get more gear, get more people, and then just keep going, or it's time to like, all right, scale back again and just it's like you
Yeah.
get to this point, and I think a lot of us get there and then start questioning and going, oh, I don't know if I
Yeah,
want
I
to
know
go
what
any
you mean.
further, and otherwise you run that big risk, or you just go, stuff it will just start going back down again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
it's
look, to be honest with you, I'd if I had the right crew, I'd be happy to run more employees. But I think for what I'm doing at the moment, I'd just need myself a digger, and if I need something bigger, I just hire it in. So it's not it's not a big deal at the moment. So how I'm running at the moment, sort of it's pretty cruisy if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And look, and it's not
Yeah.
to say it's going to be like that forever. Yeah, sometimes we can we can go and have, backtrack a little bit and then, scale down and then scale up again, depending on workload and whatever comes in the future, I suppose,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'd love to go buy a new 14 tonner again, but we'll just have
Yeah.
to wait and see.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So your move to Queensland. Tell us a bit about what was the decision for that. What made you go up there, and then we'll talk about are you enjoying it? Yeah.
Well, me and my wife, and we've got a 4-year-old son as well. We holidayed up here a lot, and we've always loved it in Queensland. Um, and we'd always talked about it and whatnot. And then, yeah, in 2023, we were up here um, on a holiday in November, and we were literally just sitting on the beach one night, and we just looked at each other and said, "Let's just do it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's just sell everything and just go." Which
Yeah.
we did, and it was the best decision we ever made. Like obviously hard leaving family and friends and whatnot behind, but and also I've been in the industry a long time now, like since 2008, and I sort of seen the writing on the wall a little bit that work was getting a bit quiet. So I just thought, you know what, let's just make the punt. Let's just go up there and see what happens. Like I heard there was a lot of work up here, and I teed up like a few of my mates had already moved up here and whatnot. So I teed up a few jobs with them, and then yeah, it sort of just snowballed from that. Yeah, like I said, I predominantly all I dug was swimming pools when I come up here, and done sandstone block wall retaining walls as well. And then yeah, from that I actually got a lot of work off Marketplace. Funny enough, like I advertised on Marketplace. Yeah, it was hard. I had to weed out a lot of yeah, crappy clients, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I did get a lot of work off Marketplace, and it was really good. And then yeah, my socials, like my social page, like my business page, has helped me a lot because obviously I've been able to showcase a lot of the work that I do, and I've pretty much done a majority of everything in the industry, and it's great. Like it's great being able to just rock up somewhere and just be able to do whatever the task is, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, like this new contract that I've got doing the high end builds. This is something new for me because I haven't really done a lot of housing, as in like the basement digs and piers and foundations. So this is a new thing for me, which is really good. I'm sort of enjoying learning something new again. So yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. Good on you. Good that you actually made the decision and went. I'm always talking about it. So I'm one of those guys that's always been thinking about going up there. And then I'm the same as you. We always go up there for holidays. And when we're there, I'm like, what are we doing? Why don't we just come up here? But I can never pull the pin and do it. And then I'll tell everyone, the missus doesn't want to go. It's all, it's because of her. But really, she says to me sometimes like, all right, let's just do it. And I'm like, okay. All right. And she's like, if you want to do it, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, let me just think about it a bit more. So it's actually probably me.
Yeah,
That's probably a bit more hesitant, but I always blame her. And I've had workers go up there as well. Some of my old workers went up, especially during COVID.
yeah,
I remember one of them was like, mate, as soon as Vic opens up again, I'm going straight to Queensland. I'm sorry, man. And he went, and he's
yeah.
been there since. And heaps of people I know have gone up there. And then, yeah, a lot of times I do question why I don't go up there. But I don't know. I
It's
don't know. I think I'm the same as what you said, is just family, this, that. What was some of the hardest things, man? Like you did say before, the family and that. What are the hardest things for you?
Yeah, it was hard. Like obviously family and friends, and coming up here and having a 4-year-old boy, and like we got no. Not that we don't have any friends, but it's hard. Like you've got to start your whole life again, and it was hard for me in the business sense of things because in Victoria I never really had to advertise for work because I just sort of followed the same developer around, and like yeah, basically didn't have to worry about work. And then moving up here, I literally had to start my business again, and that was sort of the reason of my name change because back in Victoria it was Simonic Civil, and that's all I used to do was just civil work. It was just subdivision work and drainage and all that. Whereas I thought if I move up here, change my name a little bit, sort of Earthworks, it sort of gives me a bit more of a broader range of work. And when we got up here, I tell you, like I probably didn't work for 3 or 4 months, and I was going insane. Like it was just,
Oh,
being so busy all the time. But it was really humbling. I think it made me appreciate having a business and the work that I do get now. Like I sort of got a little bit, I don't know, bit complacent back home in Victoria because I was sort of handed work all the time, and it was a little bit too easy. Where up here, it sort of really showed me that you've got to work hard to get, to get good jobs, and it was really good. Like for 2, 3 months, all I done was just put my business cards and flyers in letterboxes all around Queensland, just all the farms and all the building sites. And then eventually I started getting phone calls and I was like, oh, this is good, this is good. And then, yeah, like a bit of word of mouth. I think word of mouth helps a lot these days as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, eventually it just got to the point now where like, yeah, I've got a comfortable amount of work now, which is really good. So,
Yeah.
but it wasn't easy, like by any means. There was a few times that I was sitting there going, what have I done? Like, well, I've moved from having work, like as much work as I wanted to literally having nothing. Like I was like, I'm gonna have to sell me Digga and go work at the surf shop or something. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think the good thing about Queensland is it's very, very busy up here. So, yeah, I think a lot of the big infrastructure jobs up here, it's sort of gobbled up a lot of the big contractors. So it leaves a lot of private work open for all the little guys. So yeah, it's been good. So yeah.
Yeah. How do you handle the weather? Like my wife always says, "Oh, you won't last 10 minutes there. You after a couple of heat waves, you'll be like, we're coming back." How's the weather there? Do you get used to the heat, or is it actually not as hot as we all think?
Look, in all honesty, the heat, like Victoria gets hot. It's like a dry, dehydrating heat. Whereas up here, like you walk out at 4 in the morning and it's still 25 degrees. Like it's warm. It's just the humidity. I think that I'm sort of getting used to. I think it'll probably take 2 or 3 years to acclimatise.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I say, anyone that moves to Queensland, you just got to tint the hell out of your windows on your Digger, and you should be sweet.
Yeah.
So
Aircon, and
yeah,
tinting. Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So
No open cabs there, mate. No open cabs.
it's funny though. There's so many people that run open cabs up here. Eh? Like on all 5 tonners and smaller machines, is all
Yeah.
all open cabs. I'm like, I don't know how the hell you do that. But anyway, I suppose they must have been born up here or they've lived here all their lives. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Mhm.
it's it is good. Like obviously we sort of went through well, old Cyclone Alfred that sort of fizzled out, but that was yeah, that was pretty wild. Like the rain, like we had at our place, we had sort of 550 mil of rain in 3 days, um, and the wind, and I think the biggest part was all the erosion on the beaches. Like I've never seen anything like it. Um, it is different. Like you do get a lot of big storms up here in summer, and then our wet season is summer, which is in a way good because you get like 100 mil of rain over a night and it's dry the next day.
Yeah.
And then winter is you sort of, 6 months where it's between 22 and 25 and not a cloud in the sky. So it's sort of the opposite of Victoria, which, I like everyone's like, oh, we can't wait for winter up here. And I'm still like, what are you talking about? So,
Oh man.
but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that will probably take me. It will take me time. I remember the guy that went up there. One of my old workers was saying that the first few weeks killed him because he had to just do some landscaping, labouring jobs until he
Yeah.
found some more work. And they were making him. I think he went up to Noosa, and they were making him go up all those steep blocks with
Yeah.
wheelbarrows. And he goes, he said, by the time I got home, I couldn't breathe. I was dead. It took him like weeks, and I was like, "Ooh, put me off a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
No,
How
100,
did you
100%.
how did you choose where to go? So for someone that's thinking about moving like somewhere for there, or even anywhere, like I hear there's a lot of stuff going on in Perth. So how do you look for somewhere? How do you know where to go?
Um, yeah,
Or
it's sort of,
was yours more for like where your lifestyle is and just went by that?
it is a bit of lifestyle. Like the lifestyle up here is a lot different. Like you, yeah, like you go down to the beach at 4 in the morning and you see all the tradies cars are lined up. Everyone's having a surf, and then same as at lunchtime and smoko, like everyone's surfing, and then come 3:30, everyone's knocked off. Like and no one works a Saturday. That's like you get put in jail if you work a Saturday up here. So yeah,
Oh
it's
man.
the lifestyle is a lot different up here. Like it was, and I got told by a lot of people, they're like, when you move up there, you really need to pump the brakes, like, because a lot of people that move up there with a Victorian work ethic, it's sort of like, hang on, just chill out a little bit. Like, you don't have to work 18 hours a day. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah,
um, which was nice. Like, it's, I find like it's a lot better for the work-life balance with the family. Like, I get to spend so much more time with my wife and my 4-year-old. So, yeah, it's good. It's really good. So,
yeah, yeah. I've got on grade 145 here on TikTok because I've got TikTokers on as well. He's saying you sold all your bigger machines. So what made you decide to sell the machine and then move up there instead of taking the machine with you? Like what? Why? And is that what you did? I'm gathering that's what you did.
yeah, so basically, I was going to take, because I had a 14 tonner back in Vic. That was the last machine that I had down there. I was going to bring it up here, but like I didn't want to bring it up here, and then it was sitting here for that long, sort of, making repayments on that. And I thought if I thought sold everything, come up here, and then we, didn't have too much money coming out of the savings, it was sort of a bit of a buffer to just go, righto, this is the work that I want to do. This is the machine that I need, and then just sort of start again. So it
Yeah,
was more of because like there's a lot of work for any machine, but it sort of, I wanted to restructure my whole business. That's why I changed the name and sold everything, and just thought, if I come up here, then I can look for exactly what I want to do, and then I'll buy the machine that suits. So yeah, that was the
yeah.
reasoning behind that. Yeah.
And then why the 5 tonner? Like why just so for anyone that's looking at the same thing like starting fresh, why would you choose the 5 tonner? You reckon?
5 tonner is always busy. There's such a good versatile machine. I also bought a little Isuzu beaver tail truck that I just drive it around with. It's cheap to run, like, and you can get 348 attachments for it. You know what I mean? Like, they're that versatile. I'm actually getting a steel wrist put on it end of next month, which will be cool.
A
So
steel
that'll,
wrist? Is that what did you just
yeah,
say?
yeah,
There
absolutely, yeah.
you go. I'm just
So
flashing for anyone that's going to listen to this and not see the visual. I just put up a steel wrist pen. There you go. Yeah,
so
yeah, go. Yeah,
so Steel Wrist, one of their big factories is only 20 minutes down the road from where I live. So I actually got in contact with Tony that runs the Steel Wrist in Queensland, and yeah, I just went to their factory and got talking, and yeah, we come to a good agreement with put one on my digger, and yeah, I'm really excited about that. So it'll be just for the work that I do. I'm not just sort of putting it on there just because it's cool. I've
yeah,
actually thought this through, and I actually talked to my wife before I purchased it. So
yeah,
yeah, no, it'll be really good with all the work that I'm doing now. It's just gonna make my digger so much more versatile. So that was the reasoning behind that. But yeah,
yeah.
the 5 tonner, you can't really beat them. Like, I think I'm surprised. Like, now that I've had one, I always sort of look, why didn't I buy one a long time ago? Like, they're cheap to run. They're small enough to get into the backyards and do a pool, but they're still big enough, like, to do a decent sized site cut or whatever it may be. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think they're a great machine.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's why I had 5 tonners the whole time. I actually, my first 5 ton or that category machine was, I think it was a 4.8, was the old Kubota KX 121, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I bought that from some guy in Queensland. So I had my 20 before that. And then I thought I need to get a small machine because all the builders were like, if you had a small one, you could do all the other stuff.
yeah,
And I was like, all right. So I had a quick look and I found one online and I bought it. How's this, man? I bought it from a guy in Queensland. All I did was ring him up and talk to him. And then I ended up calling someone. I actually spoke to the transport company that was going to send it over for
yeah,
me to Melbourne. They said, oh, yeah, we know him, country town. Everyone knows each other. They said, yeah, we know him. He's a top bloke. He's got heaps of diggers and stuff. So I bought it without even looking at it, got it sent to Melbourne. That arrived at like 10 p.m. one night. I think it was like a Thursday night, 10 p.m. I brought it home and went to work Friday, and that 5 tonner, or 4.8, whatever it was, 4.5 even. Didn't stop working, man. Like,
That's
that was
unreal.
working every day.
Yeah.
It just, as soon as it landed, it was gone to work, man, and that's it. So you're
And
right, and
that's
then you can drill holes, break concrete, you can load
oh
trucks, you can, like you said, you can do everything with them. You're right.
yeah. I honestly think like people starting out, I think a five like around the 5 ton mark is a really good machine to start with because you can advertise on marketplace and you're going to get the small private jobs and you just slowly start building up and you can work for the builders or the pool companies and that's where all the small work and that's where you sort of get your good name sort of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think if someone's going to start, that's sort of where I'd go for sure.
Yeah, I had like 3 5 tonners working at one stage, and they were good. Like you say, I'd have one in a civil company, I'd have one doing residential, one with these concreters, and they'd just keep
Yeah.
moving all the time. And the only thing is the money. So someone in here somebody wrote, what tint do you run on your machine? Sorry, I'm going through TikTok and Instagram at the same time. I missed that one. They're asking what tint do you run? I suppose it's just any tint, isn't it? Just a dark tint,
Yeah,
is it?
it's pretty dark. It's basically it looks like a limo pretty much.
Yeah,
So it's
he's got the limo tint, yeah. He's
yeah,
lowered it, put limo tint on it. Yeah, that's right. Exhaust. Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Now, somebody did write on there, how did you find the money difference, like between the 14 and the 5, the income, I suppose they're talking about? Yeah, what
Well,
was that? Was there a big change or is it similar?
well, back home because I was on hourly hire pretty much with my 14, so I had a 14 SK140. I used to run TopCon GPS on all my diggers back home as well. So you're getting a pretty good hourly rate for a 14 and with GPS. But up here, a lot more of my work is day rate and quoted work. So yeah, obviously you're making a little bit more money on top of that. So like hourly hire, I've found that hourly hire up here is a little bit higher than Victoria. Um, like if you're sort of decent at what you do, people are willing to pay a little bit extra, which is nice. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I found, in all honesty, like if I was to run a 14 with no GPS, it's not much different with my 5 tonner up here. So,
There you go.
and you put your factor in of your fuel usage, and like I'm using $40 of fuel a day, whereas in my 14 I was using nearly $400 of fuel every day. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just all those factors that you take in, like your servicing's a lot cheaper with a 5 tonner, and it's all those little things. It's cheap to get it floated from job to job sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
What about
that's what I reckon.
Yeah, what about the comfort? Like, what do you feel like your comfort wise? Has it gone backwards now? Like, is it less comfortable or more than the 14? Like, how do you feel with that?
In all honesty, like I reckon my Hitachi it is quite comfortable. It's got a decent what am I? Yeah, 6'2" or something, and yeah, I find that I fit in that no dramas. Don't get me wrong, the Kobelco, my SK140 that had the best cab to sit in, like, it's luxury in those diggers. But for the work that I do a lot, like I'm not just sitting in my digger all the time, which is good. So I'm always in and out and it's more hands-on. If you buy a 5 tonner, you're doing a lot more hands-on stuff, which is what I enjoy anyway. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, comfort-wise, no dramas. I reckon, yeah, you just got to just buy my advice is just go and sit in every single brand, and you'll soon find out which one you like. So
yeah.
yeah,
Some of the guys are asking, which brand do you like in the fives? But so obviously you like Hitachi. That's what you got. Was that your first
yep.
choice, or was that just one of the ones that came up?
Oh look, I'd been like I was pretty tight with Melbourne Tractors in Victoria, and I was going to go a Kobelco 5, but for the work that I do, and it wasn't going to fit on my truck. Like they weigh a little bit more than the Hitachi 5s, and they've got their arse end's a little bit bigger. The work that I do, I need nearly a true zero swing because I do a lot of the tight work in the backyards for pools and foundations and all that sort of thing. So, um, yeah, look, I'd always wanted a Hitachi, and the reason I probably went Hitachi was because James from Precision Environmental, he had the 48, and I really liked that. And then I was like, yeah, why not? I'll just do that. And yeah, I went and sat in every brand, and I felt the most comfortable in the Hitachi. So that was
Yeah.
predominantly the final decision. So yeah.
There you go. And what about, you mentioned Topcon and all that before. Moba's asking, do you run any technology on the 5 now?
I don't at the moment. Look, there's possibility down the track, like with all these basements and foundation works, it would be handy. But at the moment, I'm sort of just ticking along pretty nice. But yeah, so I used to run Topcon. I run Topcon on my John Deere and both my Kobelcos, and actually I run it on my my 8-ton Komatsu as well. But yeah, that was basically because I was doing all subdivision work. It was sort of an essential thing to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I started doing a lot of site cuts for builders back in Victoria as well. So I generally just got a file made up for it and done all my site cuts with my GPS as well, which was great. So, but I think the work that I'm doing, like, it would make life a lot easier. But I'm just sort of, just getting used to doing these builds, and then, yes, sort of see what happens down the track. I'm not rushing like I used to, because the old me would have been like, yep, absolutely, I'll go buy something right now. But now I'm just like, I'll just see how it goes, and then make the decision.
Yeah.
So,
No, smart man, man. I'm the same. I've become more like relaxed with decision making, like not that gung ho, just go ahead, think about it later. It's just,
yeah,
you get to a point where you can't afford to do that anymore. It's like, all right, I don't
no,
want to go through all that process. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
100%.
Uh,
So,
but now, yeah, no doubt after that question from Oba, I reckon he'll be touching base with you. So look out for Daniel from Oba. I'm sure he'll be hitting you up soon. Jenna Troy, I believe he's from WA. He's asking, do you have a long or short stick on your 5-tonner?
I've got a
Um,
long stick on mine.
he's got a long stick. He's a long
Yeah,
stick man. There
every
you
digger,
go.
every digger that I bought a long stick on them, for the fact that I find they're a lot easier to trim with, and you can trim in a much larger stroke, whereas you have a short stick machine. Your strokes are a lot shorter, so you're basically doing it twice as much. My John Deere had a long stick. My Kobelco 14-tonner had a long stick, and then this had a long stick as well. My
Yeah.
Kobelco 230 I bought with a shorter stick because I was doing a lot of big drainage, so lifting a lot of heavier pipes. So I just wanted that for lifting capacity. But I'll always buy a long stick on a digger for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you got a tilting hitch on yours now, or no, or
Yeah,
just a normal
yeah,
regular hitch?
yeah,
You have,
yeah. I
yeah.
run a
Oh,
attach two, so I've run attach two on all my diggers. They've been really great to deal with throughout my whole career. So I bought my PC88 with just a normal hitch on it, and they were actually doing a deal that if you traded your hitch, or I actually traded, it was my hitch and a tilt mud bucket, they'd take that price off a new tilt hitch. So that's what I've done with that, and then ever since then I've used attached to on all my stuff. So they've been really good. So
awesome. That's a good
yeah,
deal. That's a really good
yeah,
deal. That's smart advertising by those boys. Yeah, very good.
absolutely.
Um, that's it. Bearer Solutions, who is a steel wrist man, you're saying, how are you going to charge for your rotator? Are you going to charge any extra, or how are you going to charge for it? If you want
Well,
to answer that.
no, yeah, I'm happy to answer anything. I suppose it's probably a little bit hard to charge with hourly hire, but because most of my work is predominantly day rate and quoted work, I can just factor it in, sort of thing. So, I think I'm not sure. I think because they're not a new thing in Australia. Like, you look over in the UK and every single machine's got one, whereas over here it's sort of still a new thing, and a lot of people don't realize how much it makes the machine more of like a Swiss Army knife sort of thing. So I think once that, especially the bigger companies and that, once they start realizing how much more you can utilize a machine with it, maybe we'll be able to start charging a little bit more for hourly hire. Like back in the day, you could charge for having a tilt hitch, but it's pretty much, if you don't have a tilt hitch now, you won't get any work, or if you don't have GPS, you won't get any work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I think eventually you'll be able to start charging for it. Hopefully,
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
because they're not
yeah, I
cheap.
think, yeah, I know. And a good question they're asking as well is, are you going for the sandwich setup? For anyone that doesn't know, the sandwich setup means you've got the tilt rotator on a separate hitch. So just say you want to use the hammer or something where you don't want to have damage the tilt rotator, you can let go of the tilt rotator and just work with a regular hitch again.
Yeah, correct.
So
Correct.
that's called the sandwich setup. Are you getting that set up?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For the reason being, like, I do a lot of work with a hammer as well, so I want to be able to take the tilt rotator off and then just put my hammer on, and I do a lot of ripping as well, which I've found, I don't know, people will probably say opposite, but I found ripping hard rock is harder on the machine than using the hammer. So, yeah, it's one of them things. That was the first thing I asked when I ordered my steel wristers. Yeah, I want a sandwich setup so I can, longevity of the tilt rotator. So
Yeah, yeah, makes
absolutely,
sense. Yeah. No, that's
yeah.
good. So then obviously you're going to have to get all new buckets and everything, isn't it? So it's not just
So I
a
run
simple swap, isn't it?
no, so I run all limitless attachments. He's one of my good mates up here in Queensland. So I run all his attachments for my 5 tonner at the moment. I actually bought a broom off him in Victoria when I had my 14 tonner, and then ever since then I've run all his attachments. So he's actually getting built the S40 style Scandinavian buckets, which are like the Encon or steel wrist buckets. He's making a full set for me, getting a grapple made, big spreader bar. So I'll have the whole kit and caboodle again, which will be good. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. I've always bought way too many attachments for my digger, but I find the more that you have, the more work that you can do, because at the end of the day, if you've got every size of bucket, you're predominantly saving the client money and yourself if you're quoting work. So I think it's gone are the days where you just have a muddy and a GP bucket. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You got to be very versatile. And nowadays, people are getting, customers are getting smarter. They understand a lot more. So you can't just get away with a couple of basics. They want you to have, more attachments. And they also, there's, with all the technology and YouTube videos going around now and stuff, customers are wisening up as well. They know exactly what we're doing.
100%, 100%. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, shout out to Justin at Limitless. Like he's been really good to deal with. Like just from start to finish. Anything that, like, I'm very picky with my my attachments. Like if my buckets don't stack properly, I don't like them. Everything's got to fit nice. Everything's got to, and everything. The build quality of everything's been great. So yeah, there we go. Good shout out to him.
No, good, mate. Good. Yeah, he sent you a smiley face. There you go. And someone here just wrote as well on TikTok that ripping is harder, but what about the extra weight hanging on the front? He's obviously talking about the heavy weight of the tilt rotator, especially with a long stick. Do you reckon you might suffer a little bit with that?
Well, it's like anything. Like my 14 tonner had a long stick. Like obviously my five's got the extra counterweight on it, which is a big help. But it's just learning how to operate when you've got extra weight. Like you obviously have to sort of relearn a few things and how to throw the machine around, especially if you've got a full mud bucket full of sand, or something that's got a heap of weight about it. You just got to learn how to throw it around a little bit different, I think. So yeah, I don't think that'll be an issue. It'll be just sort of learn the new ways of doing it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. No, good, good. No, I can't wait to see some videos with that. How far away is that? Is that still a fair way away, or is that pretty soon?
The tilt rotator. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping mid next month. I reckon it'll be going on. So yeah,
Oh,
and then from there I'll be I want to do a fair bit more content. I'm hoping to get a GoPro set up in my digger and that. So yeah, it should be sick.
yeah. No, that's good, man. That's good. Just don't ask me anything about that stuff because it's been a year going and I still can't work it out. I'm not very tech savvy. I've got all the gear but no idea. Is that what they say? Yeah. I
Yeah.
buy all this stuff. It doesn't work. I throw it out. I was trying to use a drone yesterday, day before. Anyway, we went for a bike ride with my son and we put the drone up to follow us. It kept stopping, kept moving, going away somewhere. After 5 minutes, I go, all right, pack it up. Don't worry about the freaking thing. Just ride. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Technology kills me, man. But no, good. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your content. That'll be really good to see. And I think you're right that it is technology like that it'll become almost standard one day. One day as it gets a bit more broad and more people using it, I suppose pricing might sort of come down, and we'll see what happens. It'll become more common, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So some guys here are talking about in the background here. We've got people talking about the uses of tilt rotators and how to charge for them. What else was I going to ask you? All right, so you said you've got your beaver tail now with the 5-tonner on it. Have you got like augers and that set up on there, or is it just a machine and buckets?
So just the machine buckets. I run a hammer. I don't do a lot of augering, so when I do get one, I just hire it in from one of the higher mobs that are up here. But yeah, predominantly all I got is my bucket set, hammer, and my spreader bar. So basically everything I need. So I can. The good thing, like I was originally going to buy a tipper, but I found when I need a tipper, I just hire one in anyway, and then it sort of, if I'm doing tipper work and digger work, I'm not being as productive as I can, sort of thing throughout the day. So I thought I'll just buy a beaver, then I can put all my attachments on it. I get to decide if I need a tipper, I just hire one in. So that's sort of the setup. Look, down the track, I'd love to buy a tipper and a tag trailer and run a 5-ton combo with a posi track down the track, but at the moment this seems to be working fine, so I think I'll just run with this for a while.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes simple is the best, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was so apart from the a little bit more relaxed, easier going work ethic up there in Queensland? What else have you noticed is different there compared to Melbourne, just say, or Victoria? Oh, what about the soil? What's the soil like there? Because I know here we've got where I am in Melbourne, it's very rocky. Like everyone has a breaker, a rock breaker, or a hammer and a sorting bucket. What's it like up there?
It's because we're very close to the coast, there's a lot of sand, like heaps of sand. But then as soon as you go from one side of the highway to the other, it's either red clay or just solid rock. So but it changes so quickly. Like I could do a pool dig on one block that could be pure red clay, and then the next one will be bluestone. So it chops and changes a lot, but there is a lot of sand up here. So that's been another thing to learn too. You can't just dig a nice straight hole in sand and expect all the walls to stay up. So it's been a learning curve, which has been good.
Yeah, that's like here in Melbourne. If you dig anywhere near the beach, you start digging the trench, and then as you look up to see how far you've gone, you see all the trenches in front of you just all coming in, and you're like, no, everything's just caved. Or they say, can you just track back over there and fix that? And you're like, I can't go there, man. The trenches are all going to collapse. Yeah, it's so true, man. That's it. Moba's got a good question. This is the almond latte king here. How's the coffee up there? Is it as good as Melbourne? Is it better? Is it worse? How is it?
To be honest, I don't even drink coffee, so I can't really answer that.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
More of a hot chocolate sort of guy. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, there you go. So you're like him then, the almond latte guys. Oh, cool. Well, I can say something. I've been up there, and the coffee's similar, man. All very similar. Nowadays, it's pretty similar everywhere you go.
Yeah,
very, very similar.
They all cost you $14.
Yeah, that's it. You need a home loan to get a bloody coffee nowadays. Yeah, you're right.
Literally.
It's so true. Oh, man. No, that's good. No, good. I'm really, really happy to hear your story, man, because like I say, I can relate to it because I do often think about going up there, and I'm sure heaps of guys on here and heaps of the listeners have thought about the same thing because everyone loves Queensland and, beaches and weather. Everyone thinks it's really good. But I'm sure it's not that easy, yeah? Like, as you can see, you still got to go up and still try and work your way through and start all from scratch.
Yeah.
What's the outlook for yourself? So I know just before you said maybe a posi and stuff. What's the outlook for your business, just say the next 5 to 10 years?
Look, in all honesty, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm for 61 Property Group. They've been really good to deal with. They actually just moved up from Canberra, it sort of put us in the same boat, which was cool. So basically we're just going to stick together and punch out some really cool projects. Like, yeah, a lot of high-end builds, like $8 to $10 million houses. So they're very big projects, and it's been great. Like, it's been nice that they've put their trust in me to be able to run all the earthwork side of things. So yeah, it's been awesome. So I'm just going to stick with them guys and then fill in the gaps in between, doing a few bits and pieces here or there, or to be honest, the weeks that I have off, we'll just probably holiday with the family. So that's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really, yeah, there's nothing more that I really want to do, to be honest with you. I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing. So
No, good on you, man. I'm glad that you just said that, because I always talk about work-life balance, and the whole point, I suppose, of going up there is to have that balance and focus a bit more on family. And then it's very easy to fall back in the trap of like, all right, now that I'm here, I've got to start going for it. I've got to keep doing more, and then you can easily fall in that trap, isn't it?
oh, 100%, man. And I think a bit like Queensland, so many more, it feels like so many more options. Like, if you want to come up here, you can buy a 30 tonner or a 50 tonner or whatever. But I feel, yeah, coming up here and buying the 5 tonner was a smart thing to do, and just start off small and just, yeah, if you want to work your way up, there's plenty of opportunity. But I think, yeah, what I'm doing at the moment, it's making me quite content, to be honest. Like, it's been a big shift in my company, but at the same time, I'm learning so much more again, and you're always learning. You never stop learning, but it's a new scope of works, and it's sort of given me the love for really pushing hard again. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And you've inspired a few people. I can see on TikTok, Benji Boy, he's saying that you've really motivated him to go and start his own business now. So that's good,
Absolutely.
man. Yeah, you're motivating people. That's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah,
Because it is.
and
It's not an easy thing. It's not easy, man. So yeah,
no, I was just going to say, like, anyone that is starting out or whatever, feel free to reach out. Always happy to, help answer any questions. Like, I've been through it all. So, started my business in a pandemic, so that was never easy, but we pushed through it, and getting burnt by developers and this and that. Like, there's so many factors that come into the equation when you're running a business. It's not just going to work and getting your paycheck. So, yeah, like, always happy to help anyone that has questions or whatever. They can reach out to me, DM me, whatever. Yeah, more than happy to talk to anyone.
yeah, very good, man. Thank you, thank you. What about, speaking of that? Like, have you ever had like anything bad happen to you? Like any bad experiences that you can share? Oh, no, he's got that
Yeah.
smirk. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Well,
So,
if you're willing to share it, you don't have to, but if you are willing, yeah, share it, man.
uh,
People can learn.
absolutely. So, when I'd only been running 6 months into my business, that's when COVID kicked in. When we just found out that we were having our first child, I was working for a developer doing a little subdivision. It was only a small one. Me and one of my good mates were working on it, running it for him. And he, at the start, no dramas, like paying me every 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then it sort of went out to a month, and I was like, oh, that's pretty normal. And then he come to us and he's like, look, the bank's not going to give me any more money until you get PC or practical completion on this subdivision. And we just sort of looked at each other and we're like, well, we've got no other choice. Like, we're going to have to stay here and finish it. So we worked there for 3 months without pay. And like, in hindsight, we should have just packed up and gone. But we sort of stuck by it because, being new into business, I didn't really have a clue. I didn't think that people didn't pay you, but, worked for 3 or 4 months without pay, and literally got down to our last $1,000. And I remember driving home on the Peninsula Freeway, because we actually moved to Rosebud, and I was driving all the way back to Longwarry to work, which was a 2-hour trip. And I remember just on the way home, I literally just pulled over on the side of the road and just burst into tears and just thought, what are we going to do? Like, I'm going to have to sell the digger, sell the car, everything. And then I got a phone call off one of my mates that worked for A1 Civil, and he goes, oh, I heard you bought an 8 tonner. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, look, ours is just broken down. Do you mind coming to fill in for a few days? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I need the work.
Yeah.
I told them the situation, and they're like, yeah, it's all good. We pay our subbies weekly. And I was like, oh, this is unreal. And then, yeah, the construction manager was like, you know, if you're any good at what you do, we'll give you bits and pieces here and there. And I ended up staying there for 4 years straight. So it was a there's lots of highs and lows in owning a business, but
Yeah.
I think it's just figuring out how to push through it. And yeah, if you want it bad enough, you'll get through it. It's you know, and obviously you've got the right people in your corner. Like, you know, obviously when I got through it without my wife and, you know, friends and family, but I think yeah, it teaches you who to work for. It really has made me wary of, you know, people that ring up, oh, I want you to come do this job, or got all this work for you. It's made me really. I think I've mastered the skill of reading people who is going to pay me and who isn't going to pay me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, look, I tell you, it was hard, man. Like, you know, being 6 months into owning my business and thinking this is the best thing in the world, and you know, going from, you know, I worked on the rail with Kerry Civil and all that, and we were making wicked money, and then making good money, and then all of a sudden someone just decides to not pay you forever. And literally that happened in 2020, and we got our last court like notice the end of last year, and it basically said, yeah, you aren't getting a cent out of it.
Yeah.
And look, that hit hard. Like, you know, I put every cent of our savings into buying that Digga and making that business work, and then for someone to pretty much pull that out from under you, yeah, it's pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. And that even when if you're on like a contract job or hourly rate and you're in that circumstance, it's hard. Yeah, you're right. Because then you get to that point, and I hear it now, even recently, I know someone, so not in our industry, but like a tiling company saying that he's, you know, not getting paid and hasn't been paid for like 4 weeks. And the guy they're working for keeps saying, oh, just hang in there, stay a few more weeks, and I'm going to get all my money together and pay everyone at the end. So you do think, do I go now and not get paid, or do I keep going a bit longer and think, oh, maybe I'll get paid
Yeah,
for the whole lot? So it's hard. Yeah, you get stuck in that sort of middle, and then you think, oh, I'll just hang around because there's probably more of a chance you'll pay me if I do hang around. And you keep going, and then, you know, 4 or 5 weeks later, again, nothing happens, and that's it. You go, so now you've lost 8 or 9 weeks of income,
oh man,
and I can imagine it. And it's still happening. Yeah, it happens nowadays, man. Even to guys in other industries. Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, it was hard, man, but like I said, it's yeah, it makes you, it does make you stronger. It makes you figure out who the good people are, and just try to work for people that actually have a good name, and not just blow in that you've never met, sort of. But and we ended up finding out that he'd changed his business name probably 5 or 6 times development wise, because he'd done it 5 or 6 times to other people. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, like I said, man, it was hard at the time, but now it's yeah, you push through it, and yeah, you just figure it out, and yeah, as long as you got good people behind you, you'll get through it.
Yeah. No, good words of wisdom. All I can say is that even if you've got a customer that you have worked for a long time, and you start noticing that they start telling you like, oh, I can't pay you this week, and they usually pay like pretty quick, and then they start getting longer payment terms, that is a sign. So even if you've
Yeah,
been working with them for years, just start, as soon as you see some signs like that, just start looking for another job somewhere else. Start
yeah,
slowly moving away. Yeah, because
oh,
I reckon that's
100%.
something, that's what I've learned definitely. Yeah, they can be good payers to start with, and then, you know, after a while they just might be take. I had a builder I worked for. I knew he was taking on way too much. He was getting bigger and bigger and bigger too fast, and then he started delaying payments, and then before you know it, I've got other trades when I turn up telling me, man, he hasn't paid me for this, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't been paid either. And then
Yeah,
it's like, I haven't been paid for the last job, and we're like, yeah, yeah, and then I was like, nah, just
yeah,
get out.
yeah,
Yeah, so
100%. Like, yeah, it's especially, yeah, especially when you're first starting out too. Like, that's the heavy hitter. Like, it's either make or break you. Like,
yeah,
it nearly broke us. Like, we were at the point where we were like, well, why do we bother doing this? I should just go back on wages. And but at the same time, you know, you start your business because you love it, and yeah, I'm glad that I stuck by it, and it's got me to where I am today, which has been great. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything, that's for sure.
That's,
Maybe I would have loved to have got paid, but yeah, you get that.
yeah, happens, man. Happens. You learning experiences, lessons. Uh,
Yeah.
no, look, I think a lot of people can resonate with things that you've said tonight, and I really do. I really appreciate having you come on and share your story. And that's what it's all about here too, guys. I'm trying to make this environment where all of us can share stories, that people can learn from other people's experiences, and it's working. Yeah, guys are all telling me that they've learnt this and they've heard that, and since they've listened to the podcast, they've learnt a lot more. And I'm hoping that continues. So people like yourself, Lindsay, coming on, I really do think we need more guys like that coming on. So I do. Thank you very much for
No,
coming on tonight, man.
no, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I think what you're doing for the industry is really great. So
Thank
and
you.
yeah, like I've known Terra Pro Shane for a long time too, and since he went on, I sort of mentioned it. I was like, oh, I'd love to go on there and just tell my story, man. Like,
Yeah.
it'd just be cool because I know that a lot of people would, probably get a bit out of it for if they're starting a business or if they're being burned by someone. At least they can sort of, go, all right, maybe, this is how you do it, or whatever. And like I said, if people want to send me a DM and ask questions, I'm more than happy to help anyone.
Oh, good. Awesome, yeah. Thank you for offering that service. If anyone wants to get in touch with yourself, what's the best way if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, just my Instagram, yeah, Simonic Earthworks. Yeah, just DM me through there. So yeah, that's where all my business chat is, I suppose. So yeah, just whenever, other than the weekends, just message me during the week.
Yeah, that's it. He's a Queenslander now. No weekends. Yeah. That's it. No
Literally,
weekdays only. Yeah, no,
absolutely.
good.
Yeah,
Excellent, man. No, I appreciate it. And for anyone else that's listening, as Lindsay said, don't hesitate to contact me if you do want to come on. As you can see, this is what we do. It's not, hopefully it's not too nerve-wracking. I try and keep it casual and informative for everyone. So feel free to DM me, send me a message, say, yeah, man, I'm keen to come on. I'm looking for anyone from any of our sort of industries, even traffic controllers, float drivers. I'd love to get people from different aspects just to tell their story and their pet hates and stuff like that, because I'm sure they've all got stories to tell as well. So you don't have to be just in excavation work, something around our field. I'm happy to have you on.
wicked.
Is there anything that you wanted to add, man? Have I left anything out that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think so, man. Like, yeah, we sort of covered everything, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm pretty stoked with it. It's been great. So yeah,
Good.
I'd love to come back on down the track and share some more stories and where we're at and whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
good
definitely. This will not be the last time. I can tell you that's good,
for
man. It's
sure.
good. I do try and get people on after a bit of time just to see what they're doing, what the updates are. Especially when you get your rotator and stuff. I'm looking forward to hear what you think of that stuff.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
see what happens, man.
Yeah,
Thank you very, very much for joining. I'm gonna just do a quick shout out to all the guys that have been commenting and asking questions tonight on both TikTok and Instagram. You've been really good, guys. Good questions. Actually, very, very good questions. I like that. For anyone that wants to be a guest, like I said, hit me up. For anyone that hasn't followed me on all my other socials, so not just on Instagram and TikTok, I'm also on YouTube. So make sure you go onto YouTube and like some of my videos on there and subscribe. And it's not just podcasts. I've got like a heap of other stuff on there, operating tips, just little random videos of machines working and projects and stuff. So go on, have a look at that stuff. Follow me on, Spotify, Apple, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Join the Facebook group. And then go on the website, put your business on there, add it in there so people can find you. And that's it. I think I've spoken too much for Sunday night. And yeah,
I
Lindsay,
appreciate
once
it.
again, man. Yeah, no problem, man. It was a really good chat, man. I appreciate having you on. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Have a good week, guys. I'm gonna say goodbye, and we'll keep in touch. See you,
Cheers
Lindsay.
later.
See you, everyone. Take care.